I mean, I did ask you this 4 years ago, BJ, but it did come up again. I was watching that, is it the 99 ODI series in West Indies when there were pitch invasions and bottles being, was that 99 or 95?
Yeah.
99.
No, that was before the World Cup, before we went to England for the 99 World Cup, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That was Barbados.
That's right. I was watching that footage last night. I asked you again 4 years ago, but I'll just ask you again because it just looks terrifying. Like people running on the field, Steve Waugh's bat's being taken away, people diving into the stumps. You know, Steve Waugh's walking off the field and the bottle gets thrown at him and almost gets hit in the head. Like, I mean, you're laughing at it, so obviously it wasn't that scary at all. I mean, like,
I wasn't laughing.
Yeah, sorry.
Mate, I wasn't laughing when Steve Waugh made us. Well, he didn't make us. He basically told us, "Look, we've got to go back out there because Sir Garfield Sobers came in." And I probably said this, came in the change room and said, "Look, you're going to have to go back out and continue the game, and Sherman Campbell's going to have to bat because if you don't do that, you're not going to get out of the change room alive." So we're like, "All right, come on, let's go back out there." And then I'm walking out, and then Steve Waugh said to me, "Mate, BJ, you're down at fine leg." I went, "Mate, there's no way in the world I'm going down at fine leg. Man, they're going to lynch me down there, you know." So I just said, "Mate, I'm staying in the ring. There's no way in hell I'm going down the boundary at all." So
yeah,
it was more about just sort of staying in the ring.
Yeah.
And we weren't even worried about the game. We ended up losing the game, I think. And it was more about just sort of getting out of the ground. I mean, the ground, they were just going berserk. Yeah. It was just like booing and, as you saw, throwing stuff. And it made it a very, I can't remember which one-day international. It might have been the first one, but I remember even going to Guyana for another one. And they stormed the ground there again. Man, they just, you know, if there was a win to the West Indies, everyone just jumped the rope and just sprinted out the ground and grabbing hats and shirts and stumps, and man, it was just a free-for-all. Bloody nightmare.
Good times.
Just picking up on that Garfield Sobers chat, it was in relation to Sherman Campbell being run out sort of unfairly or something. It was acrimonious.
BJ was bowling.
Yeah, that's right. Like when
I did shirt front him, it did look bad on TV. I mean, I came down, I bowled a delivery. He was running past. I went out to get the ball because he knocked it just in front of me. I stopped. He hit me, and then Bevo came in and took a stump. And ran out Sherman Campbell, and Campbell was lying on the ground. But I must admit, I didn't think much of it. I mean, I wasn't getting out of the road, put it that way. I sort of, and they had a bit of a wingspan there as well. My left arm sort of caught him on the shoulder. So
great wingspan.
It's a great rig.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, geez, he went down though, far out. Man, he milked that. He would have got a free kick anyway.
He went to the soft leg. Yeah.
I'm just thinking when you know, Sir Garfield Sobers is in the Australian dressing room. This is the 99 Australian dressing room as well. Like, and he says, "Listen, you're going to have to let Campbell bat again." Like, does anyone argue back to him in that situation? So, well, no, Gary. You know,
no, Gary.
No, I reckon Warney might have. I reckon Warney's like, "Mate, I'm not going back up there. What? Don't worry about it. Let's just go. Come on, let's go to the hotel. Well, I've got something organised. Let's get in the bar." And I think Sobers might have said, "Mate, I don't actually think you're going to get out of the ground." But no one argued with him. That was his mate. That was his town. That was Barbados. It was like he was the king. So even more the king than Warney.
Because people were chanting, "We want Campbell, we want Campbell." Like you have to look at the footage if you listen to this; it's insane. And as I said, bottles being thrown, and then the Australian team starts walking off. Some of the guys are running into the dressing room, and Steve Waugh is like walking off in his little hustle off the field, waddle off the field, and then someone throws a bottle, nearly hits him, really close to him in the head. He just double teapots. And just stares down the crowd. It's like, Steve.
But the thing with it, right, is that bottle came from the members. I mean, where the change room was the members' stand. It'd be like walking into the ladies' stand at the SCG or the members' stand at the MCG. You don't expect a member, you know, and it's all people in suits and corporates at that era. I mean, the jungle was at the other end, down my end, you know, right at the other end of the ground.
Yeah.
That's when it was like free-for-all there, but you don't expect someone throwing from the members a bottle at you. So that's why I think it caught a lot of us by surprise, because we'd been copying it at the other end of the ground, and then you're walking into the change room and someone does that. That's when we thought, this is getting a little bit out of control.
Get out of here,